The Orlando Magic fall in the bright lights of the NBA Cup semifinals. Is this something that tells us they're missing the next level? Today on Locked On Magic.
You are Locked On Magic, your daily Orlando Magic podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And you are indeed Locked On Magic. Today is December 13th. It will be December 14th. It may already be December 15th, 2025. My name is Philip Rossman-Reich. I'm the senior writer over at OrlandoMagicDaily.com, credentialed member of the Orlando Magic media since the 2012 season. On today's episode of Locked On Magic, we'll break down the Orlando Magic's 132-120 loss to the New York Knicks, why the Magic did not prove ready for the bright lights of the big game and the next level the Knicks showed them they have to reach. We'll get to that. Plus, how the Magic play off schedule. I'll explain that coming up here in just a moment. First, we want to thank you again for making Locked On Magic part of your day every day, no matter when you listen to us, whether it's first in the morning, whether it's right when you upload. We truly appreciate you making Locked On Magic part of your day every day. You can make Locked On Magic even bigger part of your day by being one of our everydayers. That means you are listening 5 days a week. That means you're listening on the weekends when we do episodes like this. That means we're your first listen of the day. We're part of your regular podcast rotation. We truly appreciate you all for making Locked On Magic community so great and making the Locked On Podcast Network the #1 sports podcast network. It's your team every day. Today's episode of Locked On Magic is brought to you by FanDuel. If you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. The Orlando Magic coming here to Las Vegas. Coming to this setting, I'm sitting here in one of the NBA press rooms at T-Mobile Arena. You can see the NBA Cup background behind me. This is where the Magic gave their press conference after the game. Coming to this setting, to this venue, was an experience. It was an experience for me as much as anything else, just to see how the NBA runs an NBA event, an NBA thing. And it was big. And so I'm not here to downplay a loss and downplay the opportunity that the Magic did not take advantage of in this tournament and in this moment and the way that the Magic played. We're going to break all that down here in a minute. But it was eye-opening. It was an illumination. And yes, this tournament run ends. The Magic falls short of winning this, but there's still work to do. The season's not over. There's disappointment, but there's still something to push for, something to gain, something to go for. And you can't lose sight of that. You can't lose sight of the fact that this is all about the learning experience. This is all about the things the Magic will gain from playing in this type of environment, with these type of stakes, and in this type of game. The Magic are going to be better for being here. The Magic are going to be back in a situation exactly like this against a quality opponent, exactly like the New York Knicks. And again, listen to our friends at Locked On Knicks. All credit to the New York Knicks. They went out and won this game. And we'll talk about one of the big reasons why and talk about some of the things the Magic need to do better. But ultimately, what I think about now as we prepare to leave Las Vegas, as we prepare to move on to the rest of the season, this NBA Cup phase is over. What I think about now is, what did the Magic really learn? Why is this moment important? And it is important because the Magic saw a team that had an extra gear. The Magic saw a team that could raise their ability and raise their level to meet the moment. That could take punches and have to find a different way to play, but still answer the call. And it's not that the Magic can't do this. It's not that the Magic haven't done this. But in big games like this, you need your stars to show up. And you need them to elevate their game. I don't want to make this all about Paolo. I don't, because we know what he's capable of doing in big moments. We know what he is capable of doing when the chips are down, to use a Vegas pun, which I'll use. We know that Paolo is made and can succeed in these moments. But the question that everyone has about Paolo, and the question that again, young players have to prove themselves. You get your butt kicked in the playoffs by smarter, more veteran players. This is how you learn. And so if this is akin to a first round playoff series loss, which it's not, but if this is akin to having to take that lesson again, then yeah, everyone's going to be made better by it. But the fact of the matter is, in this game, on this day, with these stakes, this young Magic team got taken by a team that has been in this situation before, has dealt with this pressure before, and rose above it, even when things were working in their favor. We could talk about Jalen Brunson's 40 points on 16 for 27 shooting, 6 for 9 from the line, 2 for 5 from 3, 8 assists. We could talk about Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson was just +3 in this game. He scored 25 of his 40 points in the first half. Still only a +3. Jalen Brunson elevated his game, which you expect from him. That's what he does. It doesn't matter how well you defend him. And yeah, he got to his spots too easily in the first half. Anthony Black did a great job on him in the third quarter. But then Brunson adjusted, figured it out, and made the killing blows and made a lot of killing shots at the end of the game as Orlando was trying to fight their way back into this one. But it wasn't just Jalen Brunson. It was Karl-Anthony Towns with 29 points on 9 for 11 shooting, finishing 9 of 10 from the line, hitting a critical 3 late in the game. It was OG Anunoby once again with 24 points on 8 for 13 shooting, on 3 for 4 from 3. It was those players elevating their game and not being ruffled, not being taken off their games. It was them that got the Knicks over the top. And look, Jalen Suggs did his best. 25 of his 26 points in the first half, before he was hurt. Like he was playing hurt to enter this game. He aggravated, the Magic called it a hip injury. We were in the locker room. He was struggling to put his pants on. Like that's the reality of where we're at with Jalen Suggs. And look, hopefully a couple of days off, things get better. Maybe he misses a few games down the road here. Jalen Suggs is really hurt. And we'll talk more about that in a minute, but Jalen Suggs is really hurt. 26 points, 10 for 60 shooting, 2 for 8 from 3. So 4 of his 6 misses were threes, 4 for 6 from the line, 7 assists. Suggs showed up today and was holding the boat steady for the rest of the Magic to come along. And look, Desmond Bane had his moments, 18 points, 7 for 17 shooting, 7 assists, 4 of them in the first quarter. Paolo got going. He had 25 points, 10 for 22. He is playing better, and he got progressively better as the game went on. But the bottom line is, especially with Franz Wagner out, especially when the Magic are playing big games like this, the stars have to show up. Your best players have to show up. And look, Orlando did not get much help. Like, this is a game where you expected the Magic's bench to really dominate. New York had only 11 points off the bench. Magic got 8 from Jed Howard, playing 14 and a half minutes. They got 9 from Jace Richardson, all in the fourth quarter. They got 5 from Jonathan Isaac, but 0 for 5 shooting from Tristan da Silva, 0 for 4 overall from 3. Goga Bitadze gave them only 3 rebounds. Like, this is still about the stars. This is still about your best players rising to the moment. And it sounds cliche because it's more complicated than that. But if the Magic but the difference between the Magic and the Knicks, and the Magic are a tough matchup for New York. They play well against New York. The difference right now is New York is comfortable in these games. New York is confident in these games because they know Jalen Brunson's going to show up and carry them until the rest of their players figure themselves out. The Magic, well, yeah, we could say the injury, and that would be fair. But the Magic, right now, we don't know if Paolo is going to give us that. In the playoffs, I think we're comfortable, and certainly Franz being back, you have another guy that can elevate his game, and you have more options to help carry you through and find a way. But in the critical moments of this game, Paolo couldn't put the team on his back. Desmond Bane couldn't put the team on his back. Yeah, Jamal Mosley had a terrible lineup at the end of the third quarter that took the game from a 2-point Magic lead back to a 10-point Knicks lead. And the lineup, no Jalen Suggs, no Desmond Bane, no Paolo Banchero. It might have been brought on because of Desmond Bane's foul trouble, because Paolo's still working his way back from injury, because Jalen Suggs is hurt. And in a playoff situation, that lineup isn't going to happen. And maybe at the end of the day, the Magic couldn't quite treat this game like the playoff situation that it was. But if there's an ultimate lesson today, if there's an ultimate lesson from this game, it's that big games require a step up, a level up. And tonight, in this game here in Las Vegas, the Knicks found that level and the Magic didn't. Why didn't the Magic find that level? One of the reasons, they're still trying to find the right defense. We're going to talk a little bit about how defense was the problem in this game and why the Magic weren't able to find theirs. We'll get to that coming up here in just a moment. But first, today's episode of Locked On Magic is brought to you by friends over at Wayfair. The holidays always show up faster than we expect. And if you're still putting together gifts, last-minute decor, or getting your home ready for guests, Wayfair has you covered. Whether you need a quick room refresh, new bedding, or those final seasonal touches, Wayfair makes it easy to get what you need fast. Wayfair truly is your one-stop shop for everything home, with decor, furniture, kitchen essentials, and gifts for every style and every budget, all delivered quickly and easily. Their selection is huge. Bedding, decor, kitchen gear, kids' room updates. You're able to find everything in one place, and it's easy to shop by style. It'll help you pick pieces that actually fit your home instead of guessing. And there's no massive delivery fees and no stress. Get last-minute hosting essentials, gifts for all your loved ones, and decor to celebrate the holidays for way less. Head to wayfair.com right now to shop all things home. That's Wayfair, WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. Today's episode of Locked On Magic is also brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. NFL Sundays move fast. One big play and suddenly everything feels different. That's what makes live betting with FanDuel so exciting. You're not just watching the game, you're reacting to it in real time. With FanDuel, you could place bets as the action unfolds. Every drive, every momentum swing, every highlight moment. Live betting is best when the game starts to shift, whether a receiver gets hot, the defense tightens up, the momentum flips after a turnover, whenever. FanDuel lets you jump into the moment. Live spreads and money lines adjust instantly. Player props update as guys heat up. You can bet the next touchdown scores, drive results, totals, and more. It keeps you locked into every snap, every drive, and every possibility. So if you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. FanDuel, the game moves fast, and so can you. We want to thank you again for making Locked On Magic your first listen of the day, and thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. But hey, you already live your team every day. Now take it up a level and go ad-free. Join the Everydayer Club today and get Locked On Magic with no interruptions, members-only Discord access, and more, all for just $5 a month or for $50 a year. Go to lockedonmagic.supercast.com. That's lockedonmagic.supercast.com, or check the link in the show notes to learn more. The Orlando Magic are about defense. And look, you're giving up 132 points. That's not Magic defense. We could talk about all these squishy things, and I talked about the squishy things because I do think that's part of this. Is I don't feel like the Magic met the moment today. I felt like New York did, and I felt like New York felt more comfortable meeting that moment, where Orlando, whether it's because the energy in the building was off, I will say this was the weirdest NBA game I have ever been to. The energy, the vibe in the building, I've been to neutral site games for the NCAA tournament, and people travel for that, and you can feel the fans kind of fighting back and forth, except for a few fans right in front of me and a Knicks fan, a few Magic fans right in front of me. Shout out to those guys, and a few Knicks fans over a few sections over, getting into kind of a verbal fight in the stands. there was no energy in the building. You really had to make your own energy. And I think both teams struggled with that. But you still got a game to play. And again, this is where the Magic's lack of experience. And this is still a young team. They've been in the playoffs twice, but they haven't played games with these kinds of stakes very often. This is where the Magic's inexperience just really, really played a factor, to be perfectly honest. And I just felt like Orlando was a step off and a step slow. Now, that manifested itself in fouls and in fouling. And the Magic got caught with some early fouls. And look, that happens with this team. This is a physical team. They want to hit. And I think what really threw the Magic off their, and what kind of seemed to throw the Magic off their game, was they got tagged with some fouls early. You look at, you look at some of the early foul stats, and it was just not super duper pretty for the Magic. Desmond Bane played most of the game in foul trouble. Just a lot of guys really struggled with fouls. Just looking at first quarter stats, which I don't have loaded, so that's not going to help me. Even just looking at some first quarter stats, it felt like the Magic were just playing from behind, and they could never quite get their defense in complete check or in good enough check to really battle back. And so again, this is part of it is, how do you play when it's not easy? How do you play when you're not able to kind of do your thing and play defense the way you want? Give the Magic credit. They got to 120 points. They scored a ton of points. The Knicks weren't stopping anybody either. And so Orlando was able to stay in the game and give themselves a chance. They erased a 10-point deficit in the third quarter by going on this 16-4 run, taking a brief 2-point lead. And it felt like the Magic had gained some momentum. Their defense had gained some footing. And then a couple of bad fouls, a couple of times the Knicks beat them down court after baskets or after misses. And the Magic's defense just looked a little bit lost. And then some untimely misses, which are normal for the Magic. Like the Magic they shooting is still an issue in this game. We'll go through the box score here in a minute. The Magic have to figure out how to reel themselves back in still. And I think while the defense is better and the defense has gotten into better shape, and I'm going to pull up my advanced numbers here in a sec so I can give you some numbers, the Magic's defense has gotten into better shape. They had a 115.4 offensive rating, which is a little bit below their average. 125.7 defensive rating. Not going to win many games that way. Every time it felt like they were about to reel things in, they made some critical error, and just momentum just stopped. And again, that's a credit to the Knicks. That is a credit to who this Knicks team is and what this Knicks team can be about. But Orlando just could not sustain much. They just weren't able to get their defensive footing under them. And again, in these kinds of games, you've got to lean into your identity. In these kinds of games, it's about little things. It's the Magic were up by 2, and they entered the second half, the fourth quarter, trailing by 10, trailing by 8 again. And that was just letting go of the rope a little bit and not being able to control the tempo and control the pace. And again, that is what I'm talking about, how this team couldn't get to the next level, couldn't get themselves above and beyond. And that is, frankly, the big challenge for the Magic, is when you're in this situation and you're being pushed around a little bit, how do you respond? How do you calm yourself down? How do you find your center? Ultimately, do you want that to be your stars? Do you want that to be your Paolos, your Franz, to say hey, I'm going to get the ball. I'm going to get us a shot. Take a breath. You want that to be your point guard? Well, the Magic don't really have a point guard. Jalen Suggs can be a little frenetic, and this game he definitely was. Tyus Jones does a little bit. Anthony Black does a little bit. This team is still figuring out how to respond to this adversity, because this game looked more like the New York Detroit games that we were panicking about in October. Now, again, I think we all understand this is a unique situation and a unique thing. And it didn't work for Orlando today. There's no reason to think some of the shots that they missed wouldn't work another time, or that this isn't a habit yet. Like I expect the Magic to defend a lot better Thursday, especially with a few days off. I don't think, even good defensive teams have games where they give up a ton of points. It's the NBA. Teams get hot. Teams find that hole. They attack a team that's fouling a lot. These things happen. But again, it's okay that it happened in the first half because you were able to stay in the game and give yourself a chance. You got back in the game. You took the lead. And then you gave it all away again. Then you went back to the bad habits that cost you so much. Again, this is why big moments, this is why big games like this, why the Magic need these reps. Because in the playoffs, teams are going to take them out of what they want to do. In the playoffs, they're going to poke and prod and try and get the Magic off kilter with pace especially. Orlando can't let some of the mistakes of this game become habit, and I don't think they will. But the Magic need to make sure that they bring the right energy, intention, and focus to these big games. If you're going to treat this like a big game, which it was, you got to come out more prepared and more energetic. You got to come out saying, we're going to defend first. Offense is whatever. We'll figure out offense. Defense comes first. And I think the Magic still struggle with that a little bit. This was illuminating. Again, I want to be clear. Like, this is a game that's going to teach this team a lot of lessons. They are going to be a much better team because of the way they play, because of what they learned today and the experience of going through this. And that's part of what the NBA Cup's supposed to be. And that's part of what the regular season is supposed to be. The Magic should be more ready to handle this in the playoffs and in the moments that actually matter. I'm a cup believer. I would have loved to be staying here for a couple more days. The Magic will be better because of this. If they're not, then they completely wasted this opportunity and completely missed what they're supposed to gain. And then we got to talk about some bigger issues about being stuck in the middle. Let's run through the box score then. We'll talk a little bit about individual performances, how the Magic performed, and what needs to change. We'll get to that coming up here in just a moment. But first, today's episode of Locked On Magic is brought to you by our friends over at Rugiet. Let's be real, making excuses doesn't solve anything. We've all heard them before. It's just stress, I'm tired, or it happens to everyone sometimes. But when it comes to performance, sometimes your body just needs a little extra support. And that's where Rugiet comes in. Rugiet.com offers fast-acting, doctor-prescribed treatments for ED designed to help you stop making excuses and start making moves. Rugiet makes it easy to get started. You just connect with a board-certified doctor, 100% online, no awkward waiting rooms, no in-person appointments. They prescribe your treatment sheets discreetly straight to your door. The process is fast, simple, and private, and it's all handled by real doctors. It's about confidence, connection, and getting back to the moments that matter. Visit Rugiet.com, RUGIET.com/LockedOnNBA to get 15% off your first order. That's Rugiet, RUGIET.com/LockedOnNBA. And don't forget to use code LockedOnNBA so they know we sent you. Rugiet, stop making excuses and start making moves. Final segment here from Las Vegas. Philip Rossman-Reich, host Philip Rossman-Reich of Orlando Magic Daily here at T-Mobile Arena. I'm inside the beautiful Magenta room where the Magic held their press conference just about an hour ago now, I guess, I suppose, a little bit more than an hour ago. Let's run through the box score as the Orlando Magic fall to the New York Knicks 132-120. We've talked a lot about the players in this game, and I want to start by just giving all the credit and all the kudos to Jalen Suggs. Jalen Suggs in 29 minutes, 28 seconds, scored 26 points, 25 in the first half, 10 for 16, 2 for 8 from 3, 4 for 6 from the foul line, 2 rebounds, 7 assists. We know Jalen Suggs is a warrior, and maybe this game ends up very different. And some of the things that led the Magic to be put in some bad situations with lineups and rotations, maybe those change if Jalen Suggs isn't hurt, and very clearly hurt, and not hurt in that, oh, Jalen Suggs is always playing hurt, but hurt somewhat seriously. Maybe this game is completely different. in so many ways. Jalen Suggs deserves all the credit for fighting and battling the way he did. Um, we know that's who Jalen is, and we know Jalen, if he can walk, he can play. Um, Sometimes someone does need to kind of save him from himself, and someone does need to say, hey, sit a little bit, get your body right. We need you later in the year. And again, like, don't know how serious Jalen Suggs' injury is. Like I mentioned, he was very, very slow moving in the locker room when we spoke to him, struggling to put on pants. I was waiting on the elevator to get back to see if I could record up in the Arena Bowl before the second game started. We're at the first quarter break here. And I saw Jalen Suggs being taken to the bus on a wheelchair. Now, that doesn't mean he's like so seriously injured. It just means he's struggling to walk. And, they're going to get home tomorrow on Sunday. They're going to, we'll see what it is. And it would not shock me if he misses some time. But that dude is a warrior. He put everything on the line once again for this team. And the Magic don't function the same without him. Just plain and simple. The Magic do not function the same without him. This is a blowout loss. And the Magic should not have been down by 7 at the half. They should have been down by 15. They should have been down by 20. They were not down by 15 or 20 because Jalen Suggs played the best half of his career, probably the best basketball of his career. Yeah, defense wasn't the strongest, not the strongest we've seen from Jalen Suggs. Yeah, there are still issues, but Suggs put it all on the floor tonight. I have nothing. I've always respected him. He is so great with the media, but that dude just is everything. And I hope this injury is not serious, and hope it's just something that rest him for 4 days, keep him off his feet, let him recline on the plane ride home. Just keep him off his feet for a little bit, and hopefully he'll be good to go to get through the rest of this road trip and the rest of the season. Everyone wants to talk about Paolo Banchero, and I think that's fair to talk about Paolo Banchero. 25 points, 10 for 22 shooting, 0 for 7 from 3, 5 for 6 from the line, 8 rebounds, 5 turnovers. Look, he got his numbers, and I do agree. I think Paolo played better as the game went on, and that's been the case for the most part. Is Paolo is playing better as the game went on, but everything just still looks a step slow with him, and nothing's going to change for this Magic team. Like, this Magic team isn't going to be all it can be. This Magic team isn't going to take the step that it wants to take and accomplish the things it wants to accomplish, even if Franz is back, if Paolo isn't operating at all cylinders. Because like I said, like, Jalen Brunson is a tough shot maker. And again, Brunson scored 25 as 40 in the first half, 16 for 27 overall, 6 for 9 from the foul line, 8 assists. He can elevate his team and again, it's not even about plus minus. You're only plus 3, but Brunson just controls everything. And Paolo still gets that respect, and he deserves it. But I had this thought while I was watching him play, like, he's getting the respect as if he's healthy, and he just doesn't look like he can handle it right now. And he's struggling to make reads. He's struggling to play quickly. And it gets there eventually. And I think he, asked Desmond Bane about it, and Bane said that, he likes that Paolo's trying to kind of find the balance, and maybe he just hasn't found the balance yet. And the balance between his aggression and his aggression for himself and his aggression for others. It's still such a work in progress, and it's been a week since he came back from the groin, and I want to give him grace to come back from the groin. I want to give him that cushion and that living space, but especially with Franz out, every time the ball's in his hands, it tends to stop, and the Magic are trying to get him in rhythm, and maybe the Magic have to try more to get him easier shots and easier looks. And look, Paolo's not getting the line yet. He had 6 free throws in this game again. He was averaging about 9 before his injury. The pieces are just coming together very slowly. And that's the frustrating part. It's not, the scoring's there. He's getting his numbers. It's not efficient yet, and that's frustrating. But the pieces just haven't come together as quickly as maybe we all want them to. And maybe that's unfair. But Paolo is so important, especially with Franz out. If Franz were still playing, maybe none of this would matter. Maybe we'd be like, okay, we could stomach this because Franz can pick up the slack, or it helps Desmond to be in a different spot in the pecking order. Paolo just isn't where the Magic need him to be yet. And so and look, I still think like a 30.7 rebound, 6 assist game is coming. Like it's clearly, I do agree with Paolo and I do agree with the players who say everything is trending in the right direction. The problem is these games matter now. This is a cup game. Like this was a chance to win a trophy. The Magic lost that opportunity. Play this game a week later and Paolo's playing really, really well. I think I said this before the Heat game and people yelled at me for it, but it still holds true. Play this game a week later and Paolo's playing a little bit better. I have a lot more faith because the Knicks don't like dealing with Paolo. Paolo bugs the Knicks. His physicality bugs the Knicks. And OG's a great defender, and I thought OG did a great job. Josh Hart pestered him. Paolo's best stuff today came when he got Mitchell Robinson on him, when the Knicks went to two bigs, and he could attack a slower center instead of a quicker guard. That's what the Magic are missing right now, is they need Paolo to be Paolo. They won Tuesday because Desmond Bane was a star at 37 points. They stayed in this game in the first half because Jalen Suggs was a star. Well, you took that away, and the Magic were kind of searching for something, and some of the Magic's best moments were when Paolo was playing his best in this game. And, again, I don't want to pile on Paolo. I do believe in him, and I do think he'll get there. He's just not there yet. And, again, this is a major game. It's the kind of game that you expect Paolo to do Paolo things. It wasn't there. Now, again, this is not all on Paolo Banchero. I want to make that 100% clear. That's a big piece that the Magic are missing. But they can still be a lot better, and they can still get a lot more. Desmond Bane, only 7 for 17, 2 for 4 from 3, 6 rebounds, 7 assists, 18 points. Fouled out in this game fairly early. Bane did some good things, but not enough of them. And again, like, he struggles a little bit to finish at the rim. That was a big thing, I think, at this game, was he didn't finish at the rim at the level the Magic need him at. Again, no stat is indicative of the Magic winning than Anthony Black's three-point shooting. Anthony Black had 12 points, 8 rebounds, played fantastic defense in the second half against Jalen Brunson. Fantastic defense, slowed him down, gave the Magic a chance to climb back into this game. He finishes 5 for 15, 1 for 6 from 3. Makes a couple of those threes, and the Magic, missed some timely threes. Second straight time against the Knicks, and the Knicks are a little bit more open to giving up three-pointers now. Second straight game against the Knicks, the Magic shoot 42 three-point attempts. That is a season high. They had a season high 42 against the Knicks on Sunday, season high 42 against the Knicks today. This is not a three-point shooting team. Made 13 threes. New York made only 7. That's usually a formula to win, but shooting 31% from 3, going to be very, very tough for the Magic. And again, Anthony Black shooting 1 for 6, Paolo 0 for 7. That's 1 for 13 between two of your heaviest three-point shooters. It's going to be tough. Wendell Carter was solid, 14 points, 6 rebounds, got 4 steals, got disconnected a few times on Mitchell Robinson and Karl Anthony Towns. I have no complaints about Wendell Carter, so I'm not going to complain about him. The bench really struggled, though. Jett Howard came in, gave some nice minutes, 8 points, 3 for 5 shooting, 2 for 4 from 3. Used his fouls, which I don't mind. From him, Jett came in, wasn't a negative, Magic were -9 minutes, but wasn't a negative on the floor. Tristan Da Silva really struggled. He's been really struggling for a while now. No points, 0 for 5 shooting, 0 for 4 from 3. Jace Richardson came in when Jalen Suggs got hurt in the fourth quarter, finished with 9 points, 3 for 4 shooting in the final 7.5 minutes of the game. Jace Richardson, again, I've said this a million times, that dude deserves to play. Good things happen when he plays. Magic need a plan to get him in the game. And look, they gave him minutes. This is how you build trust. You gave him minutes in a critical situation. He took on the challenge of defending Jalen Brunson for long stretches of his 7.5 minutes. He's not going to back down from maybe, and that's something I really love about Jace. He's going to get his opportunity. It's only a matter of time. The Magic shoot just 46.4% from the floor. They're 13 for 42 from 3, 17 for 25 from line. So didn't get the line enough. 14 turnovers, 17 New York points. Wasn't a killer there. They had 12 offensive rebounds for 19 second chance points. They ended up winning second chance points, but the Knicks far more efficient. 60.7% shooting. They were 7 for 20 from 3. So Orlando did a good job controlling the three-point shooting. 23 for 31 from the foul line. Only 8 offensive rebounds for the Knicks. Magic do such a good job keeping the Knicks off the offensive glass. Several of them were big backbreakers. They had 13 second chance points, 4 for 5 shooting on second chance points. That's not the ball game, but that is a big thing that was a big area that the Knicks were able to kind of make up some ground on Orlando. When they got their opportunities, they took advantage of them. So all credit to the New York Knicks there. Again, Knicks were just a better team today. Played more aggressive, played more assertive. Magic, got caught on their back foot and never really caught up in this game. And that's why the Knicks are your winners and why the Knicks are moving on to play the Thunder or the Spurs on Tuesday. The Orlando Magic follow the New York Knicks 132-120. They are back in action Thursday in Denver. Magic are going home for a few days. Then they'll head back out west for a 4-game West Coast trip. That's at Denver, at Utah, at Golden State, at Portland, heading into Christmas. Then they'll be home for a little bit. They'll be home for 2 days before Christmas before they head back out on the road. So a road heavy part of the schedule. This will be a part where this part of the schedule where the Magic just kind of need to keep things together, hang tight, pick up wins where they can. And then you typically, I believe after the New Year, things really begin to lighten up again. After Christmas, really, after this West Coast road trip, the schedule is a little bit lighter for Orlando to manage. But that's going to do it for me today. I want to thank you all again for listening to today's episode of Locked On Magic. You can find me on Twitter at @PhilipRR_OMD and on Blue Sky at PhilipRR. You can subscribe to the podcast and Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, Himalaya, Google Play, Spotify, Odyssey, and all the Philip Macy on podcast to your podcast-enabled listening device. You can find us on YouTube as well. Just search for Locked On Magic. Thanks, everyone, for getting us over 5,000 subscribers on YouTube. Truly, truly, truly appreciate all of you in the Locked On Magic community. For the latest on the Orlando Magic, be sure to check out OrlandoMagicDaily.com. You can find us there on Twitter at OMagicDaily. And for even more Orlando Magic content, be sure to check out my Patreon page, the Orlando Magic Hub, at patreon.com/Orlando Magic Hub. As always, thank you for your support. Now that you're done making Locked On Magic your first listen of the day, go check out the Locked On NBA YouTube channel. On audio, make your second listen to the NBA Game Night, where we'll surely break down this game a little bit more. And if Locked On Magic made your Spotify Wrap, prove it on social media to secure a free month of our brand new Everydayer Club. Just tag our national Locked On Podcast Network account on any social platform, and we'll drop you a code. Be one of the first to join the Everydayer Club to get your favorite show ad-free and exclusive access to the members-only Discord channel. We thank you again for making Locked On Magic part of your day every day. I'm not doing an episode on Monday. I'm taking a red eye back to Orlando Sunday night. So appreciate everyone for being on the NBA Cup journey with me here in Las Vegas. We'll be back probably Monday late afternoon. I'm going to try to do that episode early since I won't be giving you a Monday episode. We'll be back, kind of recap what we learned from the NBA Cup and more. But until then, for Orlando Magic Daily and Locked On Magic, this has been Philip Rossman-Reich. We'll see you all again next time for another episode of Locked On Magic.